the other side, open the boot. Struts are a bit tired and yeah, the gas a bit, but she's at work, but you need to be very careful that it doesn't come down and slam on your head. That hurts. But there's the wiring. They've taped everything up so nothing shorts or interferes with the stereo. Back speakers have been replaced, everything's there as I was saying. All I do is chuck 2 amps there, some subs, it should be done. Anyway, but yeah, other than that, it's pretty clean. Like the bodywork's pretty good. Little mark there, and one on the driver's side door, but that's pretty small and minor. Inside the car's not really too bad. It's a bit dirty, but that will clean up nice. There's that little adjustable thing. You can adjust the rev taco on it and everything. I don't know why I put that on there. Really unnecessary for this car to put that sort of thing on there. It's got the good wiper blades and everything on it. But yeah, as I said, the engine needs to be done and the gearbox needs to be replaced. They'll be coming out of another car. So yeah, back to this. That's doing a good job. Alright, well, I do use a video of this other car. It's going to be the donor for this car. Okay, viewers, well, here's a donor car. It's just a 92 model, or 91 model VN. The rego's gone, 2008. Took some parts off it, but they never ended up getting sold. Trying to get this bonnet open a bit so you can see what it's like underneath. But there's yeah, that's as best as I'm going to get it open. That tree's in the way. But there's the engine. This is the second engine this car's had, and it's done a little over 120,000 Ks. So it's pretty almost new, except this here's been thrashed too by my brother. Having too much fun. It was his run around car though. But yeah, it did actually spin a bearing, but as soon as that happened, shut it off and never ran it again to prevent further damage. So hopefully it shouldn't be too much to fix this. Good spark plugs, leads, everything's been done. It's just a basic car though, nothing, no features, nothing. Damn ants living in it though, for some stupid reason. Don't know what the ants have got to like about this car. And that belongs on this car. That was another car we had, a Toyota Lexan, which is basically a VN, which was supposed to be for parts of this one. But we did actually get the gearbox out, and that gearbox out of that car is in this car, because the original gearbox that was in this car was stuffed as well, but I think it wasn't worth fixing or something like that. But yeah, the gearbox out of that Lexan got rebuilt and got in here. But yeah, as I said, this gearbox actually has a shift kit. It's done very, very, very little Ks since rebuild. The actual car itself was done 278,000 Ks. The original engine on this, I got parts of it I could show you, but that engine died a horrible death. Computer just goes into there. That's the original one for this car. But I don't know why they changed it, because it revved harder or something stupid like that. But speakers for the wires to the back, because he's never had back speakers. But yeah, it was very clean, but now we've just gotten dirty. It's just been sitting here, chucking parts in here, so it got dirty again. The car still smells of water from when we washed it, when we bought it. But yeah, it's pretty dirty and just been used for parts. There's a light, more ants. That's a glove box part there, probably use that for parts as well. And the boot, it's got a VY gearbox in it. This also needs a rebuild, but yeah, just all parts I got for this other car here. The original wheels on it, did have mags, but they got used. But yeah. That's all bogged up with body filler, because it's been cut in half here and half here. The whole back half's been replaced. This must have been in a pretty serious accident when it was new. You can see they've cut it here and they've rejoined it all, re-rodded the body half, back half for another car this is. But yeah, back then they used to be able to cut a car in half and rod knee back onto the original body. Now they don't do that anymore, instead of the rod off. But yeah, this car must have had a pretty bad accident when it was near new. His back's not original. Had a spoiler, that's been put away. Badges have been taken off. But yeah, it's only a parts car, so let's get back to this pump. That's the one that's done really well. I think I'll shut it down now, turn it off, let it build up a little bit. But yeah, this thing's actually idling very nicely now. Runs all smoothly after I clean that carby. But yeah, we've done the pump, that's all there. More water will keep flowing in, but I'll just turn it off for a bit, come back later on. Now I'll show you up to this other parts of this other engine of that car. View as well. That's out of the original engine of that white car I showed before. Had a spun bearing, but as you do, you have a bit too much fun thrashing it around the block and having some fun. Yeah, spun bearings often lead to this. Nasty. Smells of burnt carbon and burnt oil, so it's had a hard life, this engine. Or the original engine out of that car anyway. Yeah. Very nasty. That's the only thing that part of the cylinder that was not damaged at all was that ring. And that was done, that's done me about 260 something thousand k's. Probably do a gap tool measure and see how much of that ring's worn out. That's part of the side of the wall. The piston which goes where the gudgeon pin was, which is here. So yeah. More conrod, had some hot spots where the bearing spun and just cooked it. Because when the bearing spins it just burns and scores everything. Part of the actual bearing itself just got worn down to nothing, and that got extremely hot. You can see just how discoloured it is. More piston. Little tiny fragment of bearing there. That ring there's nearly perfect. The only thing that survived was that ring. But the engine block had a bit of damage to it. Cylinder piston ended up cockwise in the cylinder like that, and damaged the cylinder wall. Did some damage to the block and knocked the conrod come back and smashed the oil pickup off the bolts. And then the engine had no oil pressure. Done all sorts of nasty stuff to the engine. Had a big dent in the sump where this went through. This half that went through. You can see some part of it. Where it hit, I think it's this half here. But scunned the sump. Just kicked a hole in it. And this all happened, but I think this happened at about, I don't know, probably 3,000 or 4,000 RPM the engine was doing, because I was in the car when this happened. Just clunk, 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 and it was a big jolt, and that's it. But the engine still kept on. You can see here, the valves have been hitting. That's probably from the intake valve, and that's from the exhaust valve. Because when the bearing spins, there's a bit of play in the, what do you call it, a lash, whatever you call it, in the cylinder. And it goes up a little higher, and then the valves end up hitting. So yeah. Not a good idea to run an engine with spun bearings. Try and reassemble it here, that would have went, I think that went there, if I remember. Try and find a part, yeah, it's pretty hard, there you go, that went there. This got more just, yeah, eaten by the crank in the side of the block. That took a very hard hit. Just squashed it. Little fragment there that got taken out. Bits of the piston, bits of the bearing, which would have been in here, because the bearing's actually supposed to stick in there, but when it spins it turns. gets up here and there's a big gap here, and that creates a knock in the engine. And that gets hot and builds up friction, which that smashes around, and that's how it ends up, yeah, throwing the rod. But there's what happened to the bearing. Try and get a better view of that in the light where you can see how hot it got. Of course, when there's an oil journal somewhere to get to that bearing and it spins, oil can't get there no more. That's why it gets hot. You see, that's where it locks onto. The bearing snaps in here and holds on, but when it spins it lets go of them and just spins around. You can see a bits of score marks here. Yeah, scored it. It did more damage to the crank than it did to this. Yeah, there's a big hot spot there though. That got very, very, very hot. Number 4, that must have been the piston or the cylinder number. I think that's on which way it went. It's just so badly damaged. That part there kind of gives it away, so what about there? Those bolts would have probably, I don't know if they were already loose to begin with because the bearing spun, but I don't know. They would have been loose as it was knocking. They just would have got loosened. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, when the bearing spins it just knocks and these bolts tend to loosen. That's how I think it would have gave way. Would have kept knocking, created a crack somewhere and hit somewhere. The downstroke just would have smashed it. Look at that, that's just done some very irreparable damage to the piston. I can't get that to turn. There you go. That was actually seized at one point, but I got it turning. The gudgeon pin itself was alright. I originally would have thought it was a gudgeon knock, but no. So yeah, that'd be a warning. If your engine, especially 3.8, has a knock, like a spun bearing or something like that, don't keep running it because it will lead to this. So yeah, thanks for watching.